and the doors were propped open.
Yeah.
And there was blood on the front doorstep.
Savannah Guthrie did not post the normal Mother's Day tribute. She posted a plea. Her mother, Nancy Guthrie, is still missing, and Savannah wrote the words no family ever wants to say. "We will never stop looking for you." Nancy, 84, was believed to have been abducted from her Tucson home by a masked man in the early hours of February 1st. No suspect has been identified. And on a day meant to celebrate mothers, Savannah turned her grief into a public call for help. How does one of America's most recognizable morning show hosts keep standing in front of the cameras while privately living through a nightmare that has no ending? That is what makes this story so painful. This is not just a celebrity post. It is a daughter begging the public to remember that her mother is still not home. And the deeper you look, the heavier it gets. On May 10, 2026, Savannah Guthrie shared an emotional Mother's Day video on Instagram featuring clips of her mother, Nancy Guthrie. According to the report, Nancy had been missing since February 1st, after she was believed to have been abducted from her Tucson, Arizona home by a masked man in the early morning hours. Savannah's caption was direct, desperate, and heartbreaking. She wrote that the family missed Nancy with every breath and said they would never stop looking until they found her. But Savannah did not stop there. She asked for help. She said, someone knows something. She told people they could call 1-800-CALL-FBI anonymously and reminded the public that a reward remained available. The FBI had offered $100,000 for information leading to Nancy's recovery or an arrest, while Savannah and her family increased the reward to $1 million and donated $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Hours before Savannah posted her message, her husband, Michael Feldman, shared his own Mother's Day tribute to her. He called her the strongest person I know, alongside a photo of Savannah with their children, Vale and Charlie. But that wasn't the part that shook people the most. The reason this post hit so hard is because it collapsed two worlds into one. On one side, there's Savannah Guthrie, the polished Today host millions of viewers know from television. Calm, professional, controlled. The kind of public figure who appears every morning like everything is steady. But behind that image is a daughter living with uncertainty. And uncertainty is sometimes more brutal than closure. Savannah's Mother's Day message did not sound like a celebrity trying to create a moment. It sounded like someone refusing to let her mother disappear from public attention. Every sentence carried urgency. We need help. Someone knows something. Bring her home. Those were not dramatic phrases written for effect. They were pleas from a family still searching. And then something unexpected happened. The post reminded people that grief does not always look like mourning after death. Sometimes grief looks like waiting, searching, hoping, refreshing every update, wondering if someone, somewhere, has the one piece of information that could change everything. That is why the story spread. Because Mother's Day usually brings flowers, family photos, and emotional tributes. But Savannah's post turned the holiday into a reminder of an open wound. At first glance, the public saw a daughter honoring her mother. A painful Mother's Day post. A family tribute. A woman sharing memories of someone she loves. But that was only the surface. The first, deeper layer was the wording. Savannah did not say goodbye. She did not speak as if the story had ended. She wrote in the present tense of hope. She said they would never be at peace until Nancy was found. That line changed the tone completely. It was not just remembrance. It was a search still unfolding. Then came the second layer, the timeline. Nancy was believed to have been abducted from her home in Tucson in the early hours of February 1st. By Mother's Day, more than 3 months had passed. That means Savannah's post was not made in the immediate shock of the disappearance. It came after weeks of waiting, weeks of searching, and weeks of still not having the answer every family wants. And that makes the message feel even heavier. Because when a case remains unresolved, public attention can fade. Headlines move on. Viewers get distracted by the next story. But the family does not move on. The family wakes up every day inside the same question. Where is Nancy? That is where things started to change. Savannah's public image became part of the story, but not in the way people might expect. She was not using fame to create spectacle. She was using the only platform she had to keep her mother's name alive. And that is a complicated position to be in. Because every time she speaks publicly, she is not just a television anchor. She becomes a daughter, asking strangers for help.